Hi, this is Megan at Megan's Creations. Today I'm showing you a couple of Photoshop settings that you can change that can make it easier to work with in Photoshop. And the first one is presets. And so when you go to File, New, then you'll have the option right here. You can already name your file and you put in the information. And if you put in the information and then go Save Preset, then you can give it a name and then it'll show up in this preset box. And this is really helpful because I make several different things besides just 12 by 12 layouts in Photoshop. I'll make Facebook covers, I'll make journal cards, I'll make, forum signatures. There's or coupons or flyers for things, and you can just save the settings that you're going to use frequently and put them in your presets so that you don't have to type this in every time. Also, when you're going back and forth between those things, it's going to use your last document setting. So if you made a Facebook cover page, then when you go to open it, it's going to be those dimensions again when you try to open a new document. So by having the preset saved, you don't have to type that in every time. You can just click the drop down menu, click I want to make a scrapbooking layout, click OK, and it makes it that size. Also, if you do a screenshot of your computer, when you go to open a new page, it'll show up as clipboard because your screenshot gets copied to your clipboard where you can paste it into projects. And so that's also something that you might see here. A preset says clipboard, and that means you've copied something. So, and it'll do the size and dimensions of what you've just copied. Now that we're in our layout, something I want to show you is the layer bounds. And that's where if you click on the thumbnail, the default setting for Photoshop is to clip thumbnails to document bounds. And that's what that does. It shows your whole 12 by 12 canvas, and then it shows this little bitty spot showing where your element is, or this layer. And it's bigger for bigger elements, like I can see that that's the ribbon, and I can see that these are the paper pieces. But for those really tiny letters, this isn't very helpful because it's just so tiny and you wouldn't be able to tell what it is. So if your program is still set to this, you can right click on the thumbnail and do clip thumbnails to layer bounds, and this is a much better view of what you're working with, much more helpful. There we go, that's what I was trying to say. And then another thing I wanted to show you was that if you're working with a template, or maybe you're trying, oh, okay, I want to shift this, or I want to focus on this element, if you hold the control button and then click on the element, it'll take you to that layer. And so that's really helpful too, especially if you're working with a template with lots of layers, or you just really want to quickly get to, okay, I want to work on this layer, this element. You can just hold that control key, then click on the element, and it'll take you to that layer. Another quick little shortcut trick that saves time. Alright, and the last thing I want to show you is linking layers. And you'll see that I have these letters of pirates linked, and what that means is I can just click on one of these layers, and if I move it around or I rotate it, it's going to do that to all of them because I've linked them together. And especially I like to do this with titles, just because I get the spacing that I want, but then I might change my mind about the placement. Maybe I want this up here instead, or down here, maybe I want it down here at the bottom of the page. You can change things up, because title placement is something I find that it changes based on the elements I'm using. I might change my mind about where I want it. And so the way I did that, how I linked them, is first I clicked on the P, and then to select several layers at the same time, you hit Control and then select the layers you want. But if they're all in a row like this, you click on the top layer, you select the top layer, and then I'm holding down the Shift key and clicking on the last layer I want. So that selects all these layers at the same time. Clicking on the top layer, holding down the Shift key, and then clicking the bottom layer that I want selected. And so you see they all have this little link symbol on them now because I right clicked, and now I have the option to unlink. But if you right click, link layers is an option. And then there's the little link sign that shows that they're all linked together now. So that's how you link them. And then if you ever change your mind, you can again right click and unlink them. But once they're linked, you just have to click just one layer and they'll all move together. And you don't have to sit there and select all the layers every time you decide you want to shrink them or move them and try them out in different spots. So that's super helpful, and I use it a lot of times, like I said, with titles. So we talked about making presets of our documents so we don't have to type in the dimensions of our layout pages every time. And we talked about changing the layer bounds for the thumbnails so that it would clip it to the bounds of the element and not the layer, not the whole canvas. And then also linking layers and how that is helpful. So I hope you found something in here that will help you save time as you scrapbook your memories, and we'll talk to you next week.